Hello everyone, I'm Peggy Neely Harris, and this surely is Peggy's Creative Art Space Podcast, a podcast of all things art, what's passionate for you. So let's remind you of who we are. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Peggy Neely Harris, and this is Peggy's Creative Art Space Podcast, a simple podcast, as you know, that talks about the arts and the love and respect for it. Today I caught up with my friend, my wonderfully warm-hearted friend from long ago, Miss Ruby Jackson, and she is the epitome of all things art, a singer, a teacher, oh my gosh, an artist, an author, and she is just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to talk to. So we're going to start this conversation off with Miss Ruby Jackson. Ruby, thank you so much for meeting me.
You are so welcome.
Awesome. I just love to hear it. I'm so
happy to be here.
I know. So we're just going to have a little creative conversation about what you're doing now.
Yes.
So tell us, we've got this wonderful book right here, but tell us right now, what is your degree and how does art play a factor in what you're doing at this point in your life?
Okay. I initially went to Fontbonne.
Okay.
And when I went to Fontbonne, it was an all-white girls' school, private, no boys, all girls. And I got my degree in vocal music. I really wanted to go to Juilliard, but my father said no.
I know.
And I loved opera, which was unheard of for a black person at that time. It changed, but
sure.
I loved opera, and I was I was an excellent singer.
Yeah.
But I went and I got my degree in education, and from Fontbonne, and started teaching.
Wow.
That was my father. You know, I grew up in a rural, basically white town.
Okay.
Where the few blacks who were there were very few.
Very few.
Very few. And the school where I went was my family, I'm from a family of 15.
Yeah, I got you beat
Sisters
there.
and brothers. Oh, okay.
I got you beat there.
And so my older sisters and brothers went to the black school.
Sure.
They had one black school in town, but I never went to that school. And so I went to the white school. And so my growing up was really, I was indoctrinated in a lot of white culture, philosophy. I was a Girl Scout.
Sure.
The only black.
Sure.
I wrote a story about it.
I can imagine.
And so had a lot to do with things that I was into. I didn't know at the time. But anyway, when I graduated from Fontbonne in music, I started teaching because my father said being a teacher was the epitome of what a black person can do. And so
your bread and butter. That's what they thought about. That's what they thought.
And all of my sisters are also teachers.
Wow.
Except for one. No, two. Well, one was a nurse, but she became a teacher later on. So that's basically where my background, going to school, education. My father had a third grade education. Brilliant man. Really wanted us to have an education, and he taught us the importance of getting an education and going to school. So all of us did that, especially the girls. And that's, you know.
Yeah. But that was the thing at the time. That was what was allowed, and that was what was accepted. 3rd grade, 6th grade.
Yes.
Yeah. That was pretty much basically
that was
like
it.
In the day. Yeah. So now, what city and town was this?
Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Southern Illinois. Yes.
Oh my goodness! So you were close to St. Louis all that time, and New York probably to him was like, I don't think so, baby girl.
No. He did not know I was not going there.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
Wonderful. So how many degrees do you have basically? Because I know you have gone back to school for so many wonderful things. Name some of them.
Okay, I have a bachelor's in vocal music.
Okay.
I have a master's in something called Aesthetic Education, which is using the arts to teach. And it's using the arts, music and drama and all of that, which I have always used because I really understood how that worked. And so I got my master's in Aesthetic Education. I got a master's in computer science because my son, who was a little kid, if you don't know my son Terry, he's brilliant. He had told me at 10 years old, Mom, you need to go back to school and get your degree in computer science because that is the new wave of the future.
At that time he was telling you that.
He was into computers even then. And so I did. So I got my degree in computer science, my master's, and taught that for many years, and got a master's in counseling.
Oh my goodness!
And I got my ED.S in administration.
My goodness!
So did I leave something out?
Yeah. So that's the whole gamut, girl. That's wonderful. See, I didn't know you were in computer science. I just know the wonderful singer Ruby.
Oh, yeah,
from
my
church.
Love. Love singing.
Oh, I know you have a beautiful voice.
Well, thank you.
Awesome, so wonderful. Yeah. Well, now let's talk a little bit more about this book. So, you are a retired teacher now for education.
Yes.
But this book, can you tell us a little bit about it and how you became, interested in doing authorship?
Okay. Well, I started a nonprofit organization called ReadWriteLearn for Success. And I started this because, as a teacher, I noticed, and I'm not trying to be, and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but too many of our Black children, and I'm looking at certain school districts, St. Louis, St. Louis, Normandy, Hazelwood, Riverview Gardens, Jennings, there's one I'm forgetting, but our children, if you look on greatschools.org, it will show you the test scores, results, and you will notice that all of those schools that I just mentioned are below par.
Yes.
And I know that our children are not dumb. They are very intelligent.
Yes, they are.
But for some reason, they are not making the scores to help them get where they need to be. And I know the reason. It's lack of reading.
Oh my goodness.
They read, some read, but for the most part, it's lack of reading.
Lack of reading.
And because of this lack, they don't understand basic things that I know they do because our kids are so smart.
Yes, brilliant minds.
They're brilliant. They really are.
If they're challenged.
If they're challenged. And so they get off into other things that don't challenge as much. And I said, our children need to start perfecting, because when I grew up, Dr. King was my
he was our utopia.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I was a little girl, and my father would take me. He was the president of the NAACP, and we had lifetime memberships, and he would take me to the conferences, and my older sisters and brother. And I got to go. I don't know why, but I always got to go. And so I went to Denver, I went to Atlanta, I went to, different places, and I would see all of these people, and they were so smart.
Yes.
And I'm thinking now, we're no different.
Yes.
So I wrote this book, and it's based on incidents and things that happened in my life. Some of the stories I just made up, they're just little stories for children. But in talking about what it seems like we've fallen from where we were, and nobody seems to be picking up on that. And so what I'm doing, I wrote this book, and Read, Write, Learn for Success. I have been doing tutoring, not tutoring, but teaching after school. Mm-hmm. And I'm working at a church. Mm-hmm. And but I'm getting ready to expand that. I'm doing Zoom. Mm-hmm. And I'm writing letters to all the school districts. Oh, I'm letting them know what I'm doing and what I have, and it's free, and the children can get on, and we will be there, and I will go through this book. And if they can go through this book with me, their scores will come up. That's a guarantee. Oh my goodness. Because the children that I have worked with, there are certain words and phrases mm-hmm. that they need to know, and so I've got it all outlined: kindergarten, mm-hmm. first grade, second, third, all the way up to eighth grade. Mm-hmm. And I've put the words in that every grade needs to know, and so that's what this book is about, and why I call it success. Yeah, it's mine.
I love it, Ruby. So today we took a trip. Peggy's Creative Art Space took a trip because we want to do part 2 in Ruby's creative thinking place. So we're here at her beautiful home here in St. Charles, Missouri, and this is where it all began. All of her, creativity for her book, and all the late night studies, I'm sure, for all of the degrees that she has. So anyway, we're going to do a part 2. So thank you so very much. This is Peggy Neely Harris from Peggy's Creative Art Space podcast, and my wonderfully warm-hearted guest, Miss Ruby Jackson, the lady of all things educational and art. So,
thank you.
All right. So the other day we talked about how she is trying to get all of the school districts to buy into her program, and not really buy into her program because it is a nonprofit organization, mm-hmm. but she wants them to accept the program to bring students' grade levels up.
Yes.
And I know the last question I asked you, Ruby, was about if the school districts believe that they have the gamut on teaching kids and getting them an education, why your book? Why do you think it's such an intricate part to bring it into the school system if they are the district? So give me a little.
Actually, I don't think they believe that.
You don't think they believe that?
No.
About the gamut on education.
I think they're trying everything.
Okay.
They have supplies and they have things in place that are supposed to help, mm-hmm. but for some reason, it's not helping everybody. Okay. Some children are able to, and a lot of it may have to do with, there are a lot of continuancies, mm-hmm. What's happening at home, where they live. There are a lot of things that take place. Okay. But we want to be able to reach everybody mm-hmm. as much as we can, mm-hmm. and give them everything that they need in order to succeed at what they're doing. Because far too many of our children are not graduating, or if they are graduating, they're graduating below par. Mm-hmm. So when they apply for colleges or different jobs, they can't because they're not ready. So Read, Write, Learn wants to work with the schools. Okay. We want to work. We don't want to take the place of the schools. We want to work with the schools mm-hmm. to give that extra little oomph. Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, that's the thing.
In order to help the children to reach that little bit higher level. And what will happen as the children reach a higher level, mm-hmm. the children get excited about learning. Okay. And when the children become excited about learning, mm-hmm. then they will do everything that they can mm-hmm. to improve where they are. Okay. And that's basically what I have here.
So the school district, stay as you are, do what you normally do as a district, satisfy all the curriculum, but this
is just a little extra to work with the schools. I don't want to take the place of, I want to work with them.
To offer a little bit more.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why the book is being offered to the schools. Free of charge.
Free of charge.
And you'll do all the lesson plans and all
everything
that stuff.
It's all laid out.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Everything is laid out by grade level. And it starts with kindergarten and it goes through 8th grade. The stories, a lot of the stories toward the end are stories about my life. And some of the stories are, stories to help them to correct and to think, because I put some things in there that I know need some thinking. And that's why I put them there. And I didn't put everything, but I put those things that I know will help the children score on the MAP test. And that's what we've got to score.
Okay.
Right now, a lot of our schools are showing 2 out of 10.
That's pretty.
So.
Okay, and again, the age level is
kindergarten through 8th grade.
To 8th grade. This is going to be a wonderful. And I pray again, once again, that the school district accept this, because you put so much time into it, and I know your heart and soul has been into it. And speaking of that, I know you are a very, very, very spiritual person, and I know that you and your husband have been part of the church for so many years. And you, what do you see your part coming from, a spiritual aspect in giving the community something like this?
The Bible says to study, to show yourself approved. If you cannot read and if you cannot write, you're not going to study.
Okay.
You're only going to study when you understand words. And obviously the Bible knows the importance of words because God wrote a Bible.
Yeah.
He gave us a Bible.
Yeah.
And with that Bible,
that's our guide, isn't it?
That's our guide.
Yeah.
We have television, we have radio, and we have all of this. But words are the things that help motivate, encourage, and move people forward.
Wonderful.
The written word.
The written word,
the spoken word.
And because you are such a devout Christian, you had to put that.
I had to.
Yes. Awesome. That's so
I
wonderful.
had to.
What about healing? Would this be a beginning to healing what hurts our community?
Yeah.
Giving them this.
Oh, you said it. Right now, I see our community is in so much pain.
Dire.
And our children, I wrote a newsletter, and the newsletter talks about a Time magazine article that was written at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's called The Lost Year.
Oh, yes.
And it has a picture of a young black girl on there. And I've added to that, it's the lost 2 years. And if we don't get this together, it's going to be the lost 3 years.
Just keep accumulating.
It's going to keep accumulating. And because what has happened, those children who lost at the beginning, my grandson, for example, he was a junior in high school. Very smart. But the pandemic and everything, and then homeschooled, and he lost, they start questioning, what is this? What's going on? What are we going to do? We have got to show our children that God is still God. In charge. And this something, let me tell you, God gave this to me. Actually, this title, I started, I had this title about 30 years ago.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day. You did.
And then I lost it. And then after the fire, I thought it was all gone. And the other day, I found the paper, can't read it, but the title. So when I started writing this book, I set up, I would be right there at my computer or in the kitchen.
Beautiful out here.
And I would write till my husband would go to bed. I would be out here writing because it was like, it was a you know how something is,
it gnaws at you
until you get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and I wrote, and God gave me things. And I'm not saying that now I am an ELA teacher, so please don't. Are there mistakes? Sure,
I understand.
but the gist,
it's there.
It's there, yeah. And I'm praying that people will see that I really want to help our children.
This is healing.
If we want to help this community, every community, it's going to start with our children being able to read and to write.
This is perfect. Yeah, I can
It really is.
I can tell your heart is in it. It just blows my mind what you've done with this, with the timing that you put into it. And I guess when you talk about the pandemic and all, that book came out for such a time as this.
Yes.
You see that? You see how things are orchestrated?
It falls
right into place.
My gosh. And that's really what, I just want to, I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not going to, in Jesus' name is will.
Thank you.
But,
you got it.
But I'm trying to give something because I have grandchildren. I don't want my grandchildren lost. I want my grandchildren to be able to be successful.
Wonderful.
And because I care about mine, I care about yours, I care about everybody else's, because I know how I feel about mine.
Wonderful. And that's what this podcast is all about. Doing something, leaving a deposit in the earth for someone else.
Yes.
And it's not particularly, it is art. Being an author is art. We talk about, singing, dancing, on stage, acting, but this is art.
Yes.
So when we talk about that, then give me just in case someone's watching out there, what was the quick process? I mean, it wasn't quick, but just give us a quick rundown. What did you do? I know you started a few years ago, you said, in a long time ago when you were writing your thesis, but still, what's the process if someone's watching right here?
Actually,
can they put something out like this?
I saw the need.
Okay, the need.
When I had a stroke.
And you look beautifully too.
Thank you. And I was told that I would never be able to I would be a vegetable. And they were so adamant about that. When I got out of the hospital, our house was still in construction.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, and I went back to work in the school district, Normandy, and the children were in such need. And I'm thinking, we've got to do something. So that's how this started. After I retired, and I started working. I started ReadWriteLearn for Success. We had and I was using materials. I would buy books here, and I would buy this, and I would just pull things together from other places. And then I was thinking, we have to do this better. A little bit here, it's like making a meal, and you get a little bit here and a little bit there, and you're still not really, it's not together yet. So I said, let me write my own. Because I knew the words. There's a list of words that every kindergartner should know. 6 weeks of words. So I put all the 6 weeks, and I made 6 lessons for kindergarten with all the words that they need. And that's the first section.
Awesome.
All the words
let's turn that around for a second. I'm going to push it up just a little bit so you can see this. And we do have our map. We took them off just for this interview because we want to be sure that everybody understands that we do obey the CDC rules and whatever the guidelines. But I just kind of want to put this up just a little bit more, and maybe we can focus it. Yeah.
And I went through for 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
And once they learned those words for kindergarten, then we start with first grade. And we do the same thing. And I wrote stories and little activities.
Look at the art. Look at the art in this.
And
guys, this is education. But this lady is just so creatively artistic.
Yeah.
She does everything with that in mind. Look at that. Can you see that, guys? Perfect. I know it turns it around when you're looking at the,
But I just wanted to make sure. So every level, there are 6 weeks of words, 6 weeks of lessons, 6 weeks of stories.
So you give them a little variety, in there, so it doesn't seem so much like a classroom. Mundane thing, Mundane.
And so that is what, and so I have been working with children in a facility, but because of things happening, I'm going to Zoom.
Okay, wonderful.
And it's going to be Zoom after school. And it's going to be from 4:30 until 6.
Wonderful.
And I'm sending letters out to the school districts. Anybody who wants to be a part of, I don't know how big, but God is a God of supply.
Yes.
And so He will provide.
Awesome.
And that's what I believe. But I want to be able to help our children grow, learn, and to become, and I guarantee you,
you are an example.
I know.
You're an example. And how about the publishing process? Everybody may not have, the funds that you've had to put into publishing or whatever, but someone just starting out, what would you tell them to do? Self-publishing or what?
Self-publishing.
There you go.
That's self-publishing.
Okay.
And you get someone to help you edit.
Okay.
And you go through and you do everything you can. And there is a thing, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah.
Until you do.
Awesome.
And I'm going to tell you, that's what I did. I worked, I wrote, and I would ask people. It was almost like the little hen who found the...
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Oh, you helped me.
and
nobody wanted to help. Until finally.
Yeah.
And that's... I kind of felt like that sometimes because people say, "Oh yeah, I'll help and I'll do this," but I know everybody's busy and everybody has their own life and everybody's got their own things.
Sure.
So I went ahead and said, "Well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to trust God, and I'm going to allow Him to guide me and lead me and show me what to do, and I just want to be a blessing. I want to be a blessing."
Awesome. So now, as you guys watch the beginning part of this process, you will learn that Miss Ruby has several degrees, and they're fantastic, awesome. But if you don't have that kind of degree, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Just go from the heart.
Go from the heart, because you really don't. I'm thinking in the Bible, I think it's Peter. Peter was not an educated man, but he ended up being over the whole church. Because of his heart. Awesome. And at first he was out of control. He wasn't saying the right things. He wasn't. But God knows your heart.
He knows the heart. So
so I know people will say, "Oh well, that's okay.
She's got all that.
That's okay.
Whatever. Yeah.
Don't.
Awesome.
I just want to help our children. And when I say our children, I'm not leaving out anybody. Yes. Our children means all children.
Awesome. Yeah.
All children.
Gosh. Wonderful. This is wonderful.
And that's what so.
And also about the talents in the Bible. Just because you don't have the talent to be an artist in her book like she did, she had to find someone else. So you go and you look for people that can join you. And don't throw away your talents, right?
No, don't throw them away. Don't throw them away. Yeah. I had to, in my family, just you. I never forgot you because we've been friends.
I know.
and
whatever I was lacking, she filled in. Whatever she was lacking, I filled in. So, yeah. So God gave us all talents. So just never throw them away.
Never throw them away.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to need that talent.
Awesome.
And I just, I'm just thankful.
I'm happy. And I'm happy that you've done this too.
I want churches and schools. Anybody can start a Read, Write, Learn in their church. Or in, just, I do ask that, get the books. Let us know.
What about homeschoolers though? You said you're writing letters to
Homeschoolers?
the district, so how can homeschoolers get in touch with you?
Um,
Tell us how to connect.
I have a website.
Okay.
RWLsuccess.org.
Okay.
And everything that I'm here will be on there, and they can, send me a text or an email or whatever you call it,
Whatever. Yeah.
whatever, because I have my information on there of how to contact me.
Okay.
And I just want people to understand that I am here as a servant.
Yes.
And I want to serve.
And I am so thankful you decided to come on Peggy's Creative Arts Space, because that's what we're all about. Now, we all can't be on Broadway. We all can't be in Hollywood. We can do things right here in our community.
Yes.
That would help lift us up.
That
And for
would
the
help.
arts, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
I love
right.
it. You love it. And you have put so much into this book. And I know that if the districts get a hold of this, they are going to have a
I really think they will.
Wonderful.
And, I am in the process of writing a novel.
Oh, get out!
Memoirs.
Ah.
And
Yes.
so that will be out.
Okay.
God He does not stop. Just because of some little things.
Yes.
You have to just keep going.
Wonderful.
You have to keep going.
All right, Miss Ruby. One more time, just tell us know what that email address is, or that your link to get to you.
RWLsuccess.org. RWLsuccess.org.
Wonderful. This has been a joy and a privilege. Thank you so very much, everyone, for tuning in to my wonderful old friend. And I knew I had another good guest, because it's just going to be wonderful. This is March, and we're going to have wonderful, wonderful ladies all throughout the month of March talking about what they've done in the arts, education, even graphic arts, just the whole gamut. And we just want to make sure that you understand that Peggy's Creative Arts Space podcast is about bringing people in the community together and sharing their gifts, qualities, and talents. And this is one you will not regret getting. Thank you so much, Ruby.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're signing off. Peggy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey guys, check out this flyer. We're beginning creative arts workshops soon. Join us. Yeah. Today's creative tip is imagination. Or if you have children, you know what I mean when I say imagination. Kind of like what SpongeBob does. But for the stage, imagination is basically having the faculty or the intelligence to form images in your head, or to become something that you're not. Or maybe it's real or not. It's not real. We've all had imagination when we were a child. Like if we were girls, most of us had like little doll houses and things like that. Or we would sew things together and make, little doll clothes or whatever. If you're a guy, you pretty much had cowboys on your mind. Things like that. But imagination is basically a bridge between the real actor and the character. You have to feed into what comes from the actor towards the character. So basically, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe what you're trying to imagine before you can get your audience to imagine the same thing. So it's very, very important to make sure that you have the skills or the ability to dream dreams or whatever you want to do. When the director gives you directions on using your imagination for a character, pull out all the stops and go for what you know. That's today's creative tip. Imagination. Dreaming things that are not there, or seeing images that are not there. Don't forget, Did You Know we'll be right back here next week with more women for Women's History Month, so join us. So today's parting thought on Peggy's Creative Arts Space podcast is to dream dreams. And that reminds me of a book that I bought a long, long time ago called I Dream a World. And you can see, I got my name on the side because if I ever lost it, I would really want someone to return it back to me. But anyway, I Dream a Dream is filled with women beautiful women, African American women especially, who had dreams all of their lives, and they turned those dreams into reality. Wonderful artists. As a matter of fact, it's forwarded by Oprah Winfrey. But there's so many people that I refer to this book back to all the time, over and over. Maya Angelou, B. Arthur, Lena Horne. It's just full of creative artists and other people too. So that's what I wanted to share today. If you have a dream, dream out loud, dream big, dream fierce, just like these women did. That's today's parting thought.
Now I heard of a way of living. You'll be blessed simply by giving. If it comes straight from the heart, blessed assured, then you know you have done your part. Given good measure, shaken together, surely running over. Love opens up and makes more room. Watch the blessings come right back to you.